Okay, so this one I'm going to concentrate more on the upper body. This one kind of gets a little, you can kind of free this one a little bit, not so much use your reference. The biggest thing to remember there, and I learned this in the Army, walking like a robot, you're always walking, if you're the human walks is always opposite of the legs. Like we did a lot of marching, and like if you got off time with the arms and everything, they called you out on it, they knew it was going on. And I never really thought about it till then, but like people walk, when they walk, if you notice the reference model up there, it's always opposite one hand the other. Arms kind of swing. If you look over here, this guy's kind of swinging out. Body's upper arm, your chest and everything usually moves in coordinate with the body. Sometimes people have a bigger arm span and their arms will swing out wider. The fingers will always be moving, outside to inside sometimes, unless you're running stiff fingers out. So there's a lot you can kind of dress up with the actual upper body. Just why I left the arms up there like this, so we can kind of go from there and do that. So first thing I want to do, I know this guy. Go to my side view. Right leg's forward, so I know that the left arm is going to be back. So I'm going to shift this thing down. I'm going to shift it back there like that. This guy's going to be forward. Or no, wait a minute. I have that backwards. Right leg is forward, so the left arm needs to be forward. The left leg is back, so the right arm needs to be back. So there's a lot of adjustments here I can make. This kind of can come inside a little bit. This would be, I'm going to turn it like that, but kind of more extreme up here in our reference model. If you want to make it more extreme, oops, I don't want to be selecting that one. I want this controller here. Not exactly like, because I'm not really lined up it, but I'm kind of getting that position exactly like. Now, I know I want to, since this guy has the controllers, I want to actually kind of close these fingers a little bit. So I'm going to select all my attributes up here. Kind of roll the values in. Do the same on this side. You'll be surprised how much this adds to it. Now let's look at the front view. Let's go back to mine. I can kind of see. Now the biggest thing when you're kind of doing this is that whenever the weight, a body will kind of move this rock back and forth, or like a head will move. That's just kind of added stuff, how your weight shift. I'm gonna make his weight shift a little bit from each side. Just kind of give it some more details. Just try to keep the head straight. And depending on what kind of mood this guy's in, if he's feeling that walk, you can kind of just over exaggerate a lot of those poses. Maybe he's really grooving down the road. He's listening to some tunes. So regardless, I'm just going to key everything again. There's S. The arms are going back because that's where they're keyed at. I'm basically going to make the opposite of this on this angle. Look at our side view. See how extreme the poses are. Let's move the rest up a little bit. It's good. So I'm going to bring my fingers in. And the reason why I didn't do this to begin with is because now I'm going to have movement in my fingers that I'm going to have to either go back and key in, or either I'm going to check it how I like it. See if it'll work. Front. We're shifting back over just a tad. Maybe move the head a little bit. Key everything. There we go. So let's do these in-betweens. Okay, so the in-betweens are always kind of weird with the arms. You kind of can do whatever. This is why I left them in this pose, because this way there will be movement between this pose, these opposite two poses, and I can kind of adjust in between. So let's move these straight down and just start from there. And this is where I like to kind of play around and kind of just whatever kind of character style I've got going on. Let's adjust these values. Not exactly. Let's like bring them in just a little bit. Oops. But it looks like the reason I'm doing different values for each one, so it looks like the fingers are actually moving and not staying in one spot instead of running with fist. So it looks like in the reference image he's kind of got his shoulder swung, in other words, like this hand's in front and this hand's in back. So let's kind of do that. Let's actually turn this a little bit, and that way we can kind of adjust this. Turn the head. Listen to this. Same thing on this side. All right. So I am going to, again, with this pose right here, I'll copy it, paste it. Now's when you can really tweak it, kind of look at everything. Fingers are kind of moving, kind of going in and out. I like for them to go a little bit more out, the fingers. Maybe the body can turn a little bit. This is where basically the tweaks come into play. But as you can see, throughout the entire thing, I only have 5 keyframes. Really no particular style. Like I said in the very first video, that one reference image has got to kind of like, first frame this one, 7th frame this one, 10th frame. if you're using these reference images like this, you can kind of find out what frame you're on and kind of go for yourself. But now what we'll do basically, before I do any tweaks, I want to see what it looks like kind of in a faster go. So I am going to actually put this out to 1 to 200. I'm going to get rid of my reference image because this is where it's going to change. I'm going to save this. And I'm going to select all of my frames. I'm going to middle mouse key, drag everything to frame 1, or frame 0. So this way I'm starting on frame 0. So let's squeeze this in probably to only really about a second. I want to drag it right here to about 30 maybe. I'll show you how to loop this here in a minute. I just want to. It's not too bad. It's got a little attitude in the arm swing. Biggest thing is there's not a lot of jerkiness. It's a nice fluid motion. That thumb looks a little weird. But that is how you do it, y'all. Like I said, with the run cycle, I could make this guy running, in terms of just squeezing the timeline in, squeezing the keyframes in, but then I would need to arch his back a little bit for more direct, running. Other than that, he's just going to be doing a really fast trot. Yeah. So we wouldn't want to do that. So yeah, so that's how you do a walk cycle. Like I said, I always use reference. I mean, there's so much reference out there. If you just try to do this on your own, it's not going to work. I've said that from experience. And then once you come up with a good method, every rig's going to work differently too. So you may every character walk will be different. So, but this will kind of work for just getting him somewhere. So practice with a robot if you can. So, oh yeah, okay, well, I'll try to do a motion path next, but anyway, this should get you going from a pretty solid walk cycle loop. So, okay, thanks for watching.